This is the Cathedral of Bari. And, oddly enough, this place, according to the guidebook, whoops, I'm dropping my guidebook, was first built by Federico II. It was built by Federico II, although that rose window was added later. It was destroyed in an earthquake, rebuilt. This place is just beautiful. It's so spare. I'm liking those alabaster windows up there. The roof, ceiling, there's nothing there. Just the wood. Beautiful floor here. And there's the author. Okay, so here's the exterior of the cathedral. There's a beautiful rose window up there. Look at that stonework, it's fabulous. But that rose window was added later. Apparently, the original windows over here, I think. That's very nice. And there's a group of kids out here touring their cultural patrimony. So that, folks, is the Bari Cathedral. Now over here, methinks, is the Norman Castle, also built by Federico. And we're going to go look at that next. Now here's an interesting contrast. If you contrast this castle with the one we were at yesterday, Castel del Monte. As I was saying, if you compare this castle with Castel del Monte, you can clearly see this bad boy is a military installation. Now, it was originally built by Frederick, but it was rebuilt in later times. So, we're not necessarily looking at the original fort. For example, if you look over there, those would appear to be firing ports for cannons. Obviously, there were no cannons in Frederick's day. Still, he more or less laid this thing out. Okay, this is interesting. The guidebook says the castle was built by Frederick II over an earlier fortress in 1233 to 39, and then was extended with massive bastions by Isabella of Aragon in the 16th century. So we're looking at 16th century stuff here with the firing ports. And interestingly, this is where Frederick and St. Francis met. How about that? There's a twofer if I ever heard one. Like I said, that's a twofer if I ever heard of one. Anyway, I got to get back to the hotel because I'm supposed to meet Jan there in 20 minutes, and then we're going to take off. By the way, if you look over here, see that spire? That's the cathedral spire over there. Center screen. One last shot of Federico's castle. Look at that thing. Again, this is down by the Aragonesa. But originally it was Federico's castle. And there's a Italian beauty standing by the rocks. And here is the Pizzeria Federico II. So Kitty, if you're watching this, that pizzeria is named after you. And over there, again, is the cathedral in all its glory. Okay, so now we're on the coast road at Margherita di Savoia. And what's really interesting is there are these monster salt works here. You may recall salt works from Trapani. Well, these salt works here put those to shame. These are gigantic. And we're going to go up the road here and I'm going to show you some more of these salt works. The road, and look over there, that's just a pile of salt. And these ponds here is where the seawater is evaporated. The sea is about 100 yards behind me at this point. Shit. So, okay, so I had to adjust the camera, and here we are driving through the salt works north of Margherita di Savoia. And I'm telling you, these salt works here are just, they're monsters. Here's a salt pond where it's been evaporating, and so that salt is about ready to be harvested. And way over there is a big pile. I need to start driving more carefully here. There's a big pile of salt. Look at that. That's some serious salt, folks. So right now, we are on the east coast of Italy, in the south part. Over here, you can actually see the ocean. The Adriatic Sea is over there. Hopefully you can see it. And we are headed toward Manfredonia, named after Manfred Hohenstaufen, who I believe is the son of Federico. I think. One of his sons. But I get him confused. I got it. We've probably now been driving a good 4 or 5 miles along these salt ponds, and there's still salt pond after salt pond after salt pond. Crazy, huh? And over here is some, oh shit, there's a guy behind me. Wants to pay. And over here is small scale agriculture. The Italians are really into fresh vegetables, and that's how they do it. Around their cities, they have these places that grow vegetables. Look at those monster salt ponds. It's like they're everywhere. You know what, though? This is going to make for some pretty boring. I mean, how much salt pond can you look at that? It's monsters. That salt pond has to be a mile long and a mile deep. Crazy. Here we are in the little town of Zapanetta, next to the Golfo Manfredo, seaside town. This does not exactly look prosperous, does it, Jan?
Not really. Middle class.
Okay, we left Zapanetta. We're in the plain right now, but you can see we're we're going to be heading northeast, and over there there's mountains again. So we're leaving this shit. So we're leaving this coastal plain, and we're going to go up to Monte Sant'Angelo. Okay, so we went down to the beach but couldn't make it. But we're in all these olive groves near Monfredonia, and what's interesting is we've actually seen some of these olives being picked. They're fresh, or they're ripe, I should say. Here's one that I grabbed.
They're small.
They're small. These are, I think, oil olives. They're not eaten olives. And here is a dog. Hello, Mr. Dog. Okay, so now we're on the road to Monte Sant'Angelo. And this is an area of Italy known as the Gargano, which I'd never really even heard of before. So we've got all these switchbacks, and we've been going up and up. If you look down there, you can see some ancient terracing going on. Lots of terracing. God knows how many hundreds of years ago that was all done. There's more. And then over that way, we're looking down the coast. In that direction would be Bari, where we came from, way off in the distance. We can't see it here. Just here in the foreground, that's the city of Monfredonia, named after Federico II's son. Crazy, man. And here is a terrified tourist who does not like these switchbacks at all. Cats fighting. Okay, here we are at the Monte Sant'Angelo. This place is very strange. And when we got here, the parking is free, but these young bucks offered to watch our car for us. In other words, the implied threat was a protection racket. There's the St. Michael's souvenir store that I think Jan's going to go in. Okay, so this is the sanctuary of St. Michael. Crazy, man. There's also a big Norman castle up there, but we're not going to visit yet another Norman castle. This is a place called Mount Gargano, and this was a pilgrimage site. St. Michael supposedly appeared in the year 490. It gradually became a pilgrimage site. And when the Normans were on the Crusades, they would stop in here at the sanctuary. Of course, this hadn't been built then. The Normans, I think, built that bell tower. And then the Normans said, you know what? These people who are ruling this land don't seem very tough. Let's just take it over. And that's what they did. Okay, here we are again. I'm not sure what I did before with the sanctuary of St. Michael, but this place is really interesting. This bell tower, I find out, was constructed by the Avengians, in other words, Charles of Anjou, who, of course, invaded this area on the invitation of the Pope to get rid of the hated Hohenstaufens. And I'm not exactly sure about the quality of their rule here, but I know that they were so hated in Sicily that it led to the Sicilian Vespers, kicked the French out in a revolution, and then brought in the Aragonese to run the country. So I've never been a big fan of these froggies. But I must say, pretty nice bell tower up there with some cool decorations. Probably look like coats of arms of some sort. Okay, so here are the steps. And just at the top, you see someone going along in a blue shirt on the right. That's Jan, making her way up the steps. Can't see her now. There she is. Okay, so guarding over this whole thing is another Norman castle and the Ristorante Federico II. They serve cat food dish there. So this place was conquered by the Lombards. By the Normans, by the French, the Avingians, but it was the Normans who built this castle. It wasn't Fred, it was one of his predecessors. Sign said which one, I'm not sure which one it was. It's on the sign over there. During the reign of Frederick II, the castle was enlarged. There we go. It became really important for the presence of the whole Gargano region. How about that? So there's the parking lot. There's our cars. One of those three cars in the middle. It's the middle one. And when we got here, we were accosted by some young men who reminded me of the Bravi. And I Promessi Sposi, these young ruffians, and they wanted some money to guard the car, which I took it to mean pay up or else. I played dumb, like I couldn't speak Italian, but I ended up giving the guy some change just to shut him up because he was very persistent. I'll get a shot of the Bravi here. See some of the pilgrims coming in with that idiot there with the mohawk. That's one of the Bravi. There's a group of three of them. They're accosting the pilgrims. But basically they're after the people who are parking cars. I don't think they can force the bus drivers to pay protection money. They're doing a good job guarding the cars, though, I must say. Okay, we're about ready to leave town, but I thought I would get a panorama here from the piazza that's next to the parking lot. Must be spectacular at night. Let's get another shot of the singular light and quality of the light up here. Earlier it was kind of cloudy. Some of these clouds kind of rolled in. Now it's clear. It was sunny also for a while. A little changeable weather up here. Alright, so now it's goodbye to this place. Oh, one more thing. Look down there, you can see some terracing going on down there, probably so the goats had places to walk back in the day. And there's also, you can't see them too well from here, but there are holes, little caves dug in the ground. I bet you families lived in those caves back in the Middle Ages. Alright, let's say goodbye to this place. So this is the interesting terracing that the Italians have done. Well, first of all, if you look at this architecture here at this town of Monte, Sant'Angelo, all these houses are connected together. It's kind of a different thing. This is a more modern take on the older houses over here. But you can see these terraces, and you can see that some people have planted gardens. So these gardens here are not evidently presently in use. And if you listen, can you hear the bells of the goats off in the distance?